Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
It's been a while since we've had a Shoot the Shit episode, so... First, before we really get started, we'll just address the YouTube viewers, which I think I may be the only YouTube viewer. But I have a little bit of a change of look today from last week.
Just for today. For today.
No, it'll be back next week. No, for listeners, I shaved off about 6 months worth of hair and beard, and I didn't shave my head, but I cut.
His back is so smooth right now. It feels great.
Actually, they stopped right at the neckline.
They got fur sticking out.
Yeah. No, I don't have that hairy of a back, which is good. But
I was going to say for the YouTube viewers, if you note the shirt that Mike is wearing, Elementary West Bank Butchery, it's over at Transfer Company Food Hall. It may be the best sandwiches in town.
Elementary
the sandwiches are pretty amazing.
They're really good. They're actually the best sandwiches in Raleigh are East Cut sandwiches, and they just moved to Raleigh. They had a Durham location. They made the second location. Try East Cuts. I highly recommend it. They're really good, and there's a shit like they're huge.
I think I saw a social media short from one of the foodie channels.
But Transfer Company is an amazing place. Everybody in Raleigh, the Raleigh area, knows Morgan Street Food Hall, but Transfer Company is just significantly better, I think.
And was open first. I don't know why people know Morgan. Morgan's closer to some other places, but Transfer's been around longer.
I technically had heard of Morgan first, but so everybody, Matthew and I have my former coworker, his current coworker, and
former.
Oh, former.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He left the company.
Okay.
For reasons.
Oh, okay.
Nothing bad on his part. Changes in work that he would have had to change his work environment. He didn't want to change his work environment.
Oh yeah.
I.e., he didn't want to have to move to another city to keep his job.
Yeah, oh yeah. And our former coworker and friend, his wife, and I think it's more his wife than him, own.
He did the business side. His wife is the chef.
Yeah, they own Che Empanadas, which has a second location. I think they also have a food truck. So if you're in the Raleigh area, it's basically the best empanada that I've ever had, and I've had quite a few now.
I've been having empanadas for years at a place in RTB that I thought, this is the greatest food in the world. And then I had theirs. I'm like, this is a different class. And any place I've had it since gets compared to Che and is found lacking.
Yeah. I'll have to cut this clip for them and shout them out on Instagram.
I'd also say if you visit my other YouTube channel, Brooklyn Brothers Food Reviews, that my brothers and I do, we have done I did a review of Che, and I did a review of Chote, the Indian restaurant that's in there, and I think my brother did a review of Elementary.
Oh, nice.
He had their meatball sub.
I don't love Chote. I mean, we have a lot of good Indian food in the area, and I just didn't.
Yeah, it's funny because I also did a review of Biryani Max, which is their other regular restaurant in Cary.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, it's fine. It's like any other Indian restaurant around. Mm-hmm. The one thing that they kill on is the biryani. So the day I did the review of Chote, they had chicken dum biryani, and it's like rice should not taste that good. It was so over the top amazing. And the same thing when we got it from Biryani Max. Like the rest of their food is perfectly good. Nothing wrong with it, but it's nothing different than any other Indian place in town.
Yeah.
But their biryani is the best I've ever had.
Nice. There's an Indian place on 64. I want to say it's called Cilantro, but I could be wrong on that. I feel like that doesn't sound right. I forget the name of it, but it's near Tryon in 64. And Sarah and I went in there one night years, before the pandemic. We went in there one night randomly, and we ordered, and it was excellent. We loved the food. Then in the pandemic, we started getting DoorDash from them. And we were like, this food wasn't this spicy when we got it in the store. Like
they could see you were white when you were in the store.
They made a proper racial profiling call on us and toned it down for us. But yes, it was we were like our mouths are on fire. What the fuck? Like It was
right before the pandemic, my wife and my mother-in-law went into an Indian restaurant, and I insisted that we order Manchurian gobi or gobi Manchurian,
yeah.
which is deep fried cauliflower in a red chili sauce. One of my favorite things.
Me
And
too. I love it.
the waiter gave me like a almost looked at my beautiful wife and her mother and gave me almost a dirty look when he took the orders. And when he brought the gobi, it was the hottest I have ever had it. I mean, I have it all the time, and it was twice as hot, to the point where my wife and my mother-in-law couldn't eat it. But obviously I could, because I'm a freaking weird ass super pepperhead.
Yeah.
So I ate the entire platter, and he looked so disappointed when they couldn't eat it. They pushed their plates over to me.
Nice.
Are we doing a shoot the shit? Is this a shoot the shit?
This is a shoot the shit episode.
I've got lots of Indian food stories.
Yeah.
I love Indian food stories.
But real quick, before we get completely off the topic of transfer company, I just want to say that
no, I'm still there.
They have the best chicken fingers in the world at Dank Burrito. I don't like Dank Burrito's food, which is their food's fine. Like it's just nothing special. You know, we have really good Mexican in the area, and we have good Tex-Mex. But Dank Burrito to me is nothing special. But Logan got the chicken fingers one time, and well, we got Che, and you know, after I was done eating a couple empanadas, I took a bite of one of his chicken fingers because he had leftovers, and I was like, "This is the best chicken finger I've ever had." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And so I tell people sometimes, like, "Oh, if you go to Dank Burrito, best chicken fingers," and they're like, "Why would I get chicken fingers at Dank Burrito?"
At a burrito.
And I'm like,
"That's funny.
I don't know. I have a 7-year-old. At that time, I probably had a 4-year-old. Like,
yeah, I have a video on Brooklyn Brothers food review that's about to go live. I don't know when it's in the queue, because since it's three of us, we kind of take turns when our videos go, so it could take a while for one to come out. But it was from last Wednesday at the wine bar in Apex, Peak of the Vine. They have food trucks on Wednesdays, and they have wine tasting. So my wife and I go every Wednesday for wine tasting and food truck. And last week it was like a taco torta truck. But when I asked the woman, as I am wont to do, what's the best thing on your menu, your favorite thing I should get, she said our Hawaiian cheeseburger. Actually, she didn't say that. She said something in Spanish, and her 12-year-old, 13-year-old son translated it because she doesn't even speak English. It's that authentically Mexican that the son had to translate for me. And I said, well, if that's what she says, I have to get that. And I asked him to tell her, make it like you're making it for yourself. I mean, whatever toppings you would use, that's how I want it. And I was thinking, this is going to suck. It's a cheeseburger, Hawaiian style. It had pineapple, jalapeno, ham, bacon, queso sauce. I was like, this is going to be weird. And I said, I'm going to make this video. And I told my wife, I'm probably not going to use the video because they're so nice. I don't want to give them a bad review. I'll do a bad review, but these people seem too nice to do it to them. And I took a bite. I'm like, this is a really good burger. And Madhavi got the chicken fingers, and they were really good chicken fingers. They were really. So
what's the name of that place?
Gourmet Chavin something. Chavin. It was
What town to
them? It was a food truck. Food truck that happened to be there on Wednesday night.
Oh yeah.
And, tomorrow's food truck is Pizza Previ, which is like Neapolitan style little pizzas in a wood oven. They have a wood oven towed behind the truck, so they have
nice.
wood oven there. Had the pizza there a couple weeks ago. It's very, very nice. May have it again tomorrow.
We're having DeFara tonight.
DeFara Pizza Tavern.
So sorry, your Brooklyn Brothers. What's the name of the channel?
Brooklyn Brothers Food Review.
Food Review.
It used to be Cravat Attack when we used to do all hot sauces, but we discovered people can't spell Cravat Attack, so they can't find it. So we renamed it. So half the videos were like, "Hey, this is Matthew from Cravat Attack," but it says Brooklyn Brothers.
Oh, I am subscribed. I must have subscribed when it's Cravat Attack.
Yeah,
that's cool. And
ring the bell for notification.
And you're on Instagram too?
No, we haven't done anything to promote it yet. I should do that. But then you have to actually do work.
Yeah. Hey, you got 260 subscribers on YouTube, so that's better than we're doing.
Yeah,
we have 11.
That would be because my younger brother is the owner and host of Jet's Lounge, Jet YouTube channel, and he's got thousands of subscribers because there's only so many Jet fans in the world. There's only so many channels dedicated to them. And so when we first started, we're doing hot sauce and stuff. All his Jet fan friends came over to watch our channel and they subscribed. So like 90% of the comments are from people from his channel commenting.
Nice.
And a lot of them are New Yorkers, so they like our reviews, our New York-based reviews of, one brother's in California, one's in Washington State, I'm in North Carolina, so our reviews are skewed for what a Brooklynite likes, but from what we get here. And it's amazing what a foodie area we live in. There's such amazing good food near here.
Yeah, there's a lot of good food here. So,
like DeFara's Pizza Tavern. It's owned by the nephew of Dom, the original founder of DeFara's in Midwood, New York, Brooklyn.
Yep,
Avenue J, I believe. It was my sister-in-law went to high school like a block or two away from DeFara Pizza.
Nice.
Did I ever tell you the story about when one of my close friends' son learned the F word?
Fuck or the other F word?
Fuck.
Okay, yeah.
No. The one you can say, but we say it's the worst word for kids, but then it's the one that adults can still say.
Well, I think that like the people who think that the F word is really bad probably don't think that the F slur is that bad.
Good point.
So
yeah, when this guy, he's in his 30s now, but he was like 6 or 7 years old, and they lived in a townhouse that had a block of mailboxes, like a big metal island of mailbox, and they were going to get the mail. He was walking with his mom. She got the mail there, and while she's getting it, he looks up and goes, "Fuck you, asshole!" Just deadpan. And she goes, "What did you say?" And he looks up, sweet as can be, "Fuck you, asshole." Why would you say that? And he points, and it's like in magic marker written on the side of the mailbox. And she goes, "Oh," and he goes, "Oh, is that a bad word, Mommy?" And she goes, "Yeah, those are bad words. Don't say those again." And he goes, "Okay, I'm sorry." They start walking back to the house. All of a sudden, she realizes he's not by her side. She turns around, and he's like 10 feet back, just standing still, just tears streaming down his eyes. And she goes, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Did I say the F word to you? Is that the F word?" And she was like, "Yeah." And it's like explosion of more tears. It's just like having to calm him down. Like, you didn't know what you were saying. It's okay. It's like the worst thing that he could have done.
Yeah.
That's I have an issue with profanity on T-shirts unless you're very careful about where you wear them when you're wearing them.
Yeah.
Don't bring them to the mall.
I don't think I had one. Everything that I've ever had T-shirt wise is suggestive, not outright. So like I remember I had a shirt. I got a shirt at the like the Ren Fair when I was with my ex-girlfriend. I got the shirt and it said, "Once a king, always a king, but once a knight is never enough." And I would wear it, and then I moved home after we broke up, and I would wear it, and I wore it once in front of my parents, and my mom did my laundry, and I never saw that shirt again.
That's funny. It's fun when my oldest was 13, we went and had lunch at the Pit, with a bunch of stand-up comics, three stand-up comedians, and one of them was a friend of mine from out of town. Actually, it was 4 comedians. So a buddy of mine was from out of town who was the feature, so the middle comedian, and the headliner, whose name I don't remember now, was there with us, and the 2 different guys, the local guys who opened each night. We all lunch together. And because my buddy was from out of town, I went with them. And because I am a comedian too, though not stand-up, they let me join in their reindeer games. And I brought Jacob with me when he was 13, and we had a great time. And he impressed the heck out of them because he was so smart, whatever. At the time, he wanted to be a theoretical physicist, and the headliner's like, "Shit, I don't even know what that means." And so he opens up his trunk, the headliner, and pulls out a T-shirt in a size that would fit a 13-year-old, and says, "Hey, little man, do you want this shirt?" And Jacob's like, "Fine." And he goes, "Let me show it to your father first." And it had weird looking characters on it, but it was like a Mad Magazine back cover. If you folded the bottom up over the top, it said "fuck you." He just couldn't tell that when you didn't fold it. So I'm like, he can certainly have this. So he wore it to school all the time and would like show it to his friends in the cafeteria, but teachers wouldn't know. And then it was a hand-me-down to his brother, and he wore it to school all the time. And then it was a hand-me-down to his sister, and she wore it to school all the time. Yes, I'm a big fan of all the foods at the transfer company food hall, and in the same building. It's not, you can't get it from the inside, but if you go outside the front door and walk to the corner, is Burial Beer, a really good brewery.
Yeah. So I have a fun piece of news. Sarah and I bought tickets to go to Hawaii again in March.
Maui?
No, not Maui. In fact, we've been talking about buying them for about a month, 3 weeks, something like that, because they were cheap. And then we bought them last week, and I called my dad because my mom's going to go with us, and my mom has never been to Hawaii, and she wanted to go for their honeymoon, but I don't think they could afford it, and then she wanted to go for a bunch of anniversaries, and either they couldn't afford it, or at some points my dad was like unwilling to travel, and so she's never been. They've been married 41 years, they've been together 43 years, and she's never been to Hawaii. So I was like, when we were there last year, I said, oh, if we come back, I want to take my mom. So we found the tickets were cheap. They're even cheaper from Boston. So we were going to go. And then I called my dad because my mom wasn't picking up. And my dad was like, what's up? And I said, oh, we just bought our tickets to Hawaii. And this was like the day that the fires were going. And he laughs and goes, no, you didn't. And I was like, yes, I did. And he's like, and he had this look of like, are you serious? I'm like, the ticket prices did not drop. We didn't profit off of the fires at all. Like, the ticket prices are exactly what they were. Actually, we may have paid a little more because we changed the days by a day. But
my brother goes to Maui every couple of years. He lives on the West Coast, and he goes to like he stays at the town that just burned down. Except like the place he usually stays is he rents like before Airbnb and Vrbo. A lot of people have condos there that they rent out regularly. So there's one condo he always rents, and it's like 10 miles from the fire line right now, like still. So that place is so far safe, fine. So now he's torn between, they need the money. Like his tickets for like December. He's like, I want to go because I want to spend money there because they need the money because they'll be rebuilding. But is there anything we could even do more there? Like, what's going to be like all the things we do is burned down.
Yeah.
So they're like, we may just go. Like, like they know that this, because it's 10 miles from where the fire is, there's a Costco or something like that. There's grocery stores, like everything. So they go, we may just go and just like pretty much hang out at the condo for a week just to spend money in the local economy.
Yeah. And I mean, if they're, obviously,
I'm sure there'll be other stuff to do. Drive the other way for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Well, and there's good beaches, and if you go do like a parasailing or any of that other shit that you would normally do, like that's stuff's
We're old. We do. My brother's my older brother. We don't do parasailing. What is this? Jurassic Park 2?
I've been parasailing 3 times. And my mom said she's going to go. My mom is older than even your brother.
Barely.
Barely. She was born in 61.
He was born in 63.
Okay, but still,
they're pretty much the same. They could have dated.
Yeah, but she's had
except he's Jewish, so she wouldn't have. I understand.
My mom was not like that, and not to mention my dad's half Jewish.
I know.
Yeah,
that's the joke.
My mom. Fun story about my mom actually, which I think is really cool. So she would have graduated high school in like 79, I think.
My brother graduated in 80 because he's a smarty pants a year early.
Yeah. So she went to one of her proms. She had a really good friend who was black, and her friend had a date that was black, and they were going to go to the prom together, and like in the prom they were going to go in the limo together. And my mom's date was like, no, I don't want to go with them because they're black. And my mom was like, all right, I'm not going to the prom with you, and just like ditched her prom date because like the guy was racist. And I was always like, oh, that's
Mom.
Sometimes you just don't sometimes you kind of think of your parents as just being like there and not like doing anything, and it's always nice to kind of hear something cool like that about
my parents were hippies, so that they have a bunch of similar type stories.
Yeah.
But my dad said when his first car he bought, he and his business partner, wasn't his partner then, it was just his college or pharmacy school buddy. Eventually they became business partners. But they went to this Volvo dealership, and they went dressed like hippies. I mean, they were in torn up jeans and T-shirts and whatever. It's a weekend, so they hadn't shaved, and all the white salespeople looked at them and said, "That's not a sale." So they told the one black guy in the place, you go help him." And the guy comes over, and he's super nice and wonderful. My dad pulls him aside. He goes, "Listen, we're buying a car today. Like it's a question is which one." But you're making a sale, so take it easy.
Nice.
Because he was happy to stick it to all the people who just sent him because they thought he was a wasted hour.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've said this on the show before. My dad doesn't drink, and sometimes when you don't drink, and you're at a restaurant, people think you're not going to be spending as much money. Wait staff don't want to pay as much attention to you if you don't drink. And so he was at a restaurant one time, and my mom barely drinks, and at that point in time, she may not have been drinking at all. And so they went to a restaurant and were having dinner, and the waiter just refused to like give them any attention once he found out they weren't getting alcohol. And so they had like a busboy do did everything basically. And at the end of dinner, my dad called over the manager. He said, "Can you go get the manager for me?" And the manager came over, and it was like a nice restaurant. And my dad gave him like $100 tip and said, "This is for the busboy and the waiters to get none of it." And so it was like a little spiteful, but it was also like really cool. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Supposed to learn your lesson that you can't judge who the, so like, don't judge a book by its cover. That's what we're saying.
But I will say this: if there's any moral to take from this episode, it is that even though I'm going to Hawaii for the second time in 14 months, we need money, so give us money. If anything, we need it more because I have to keep providing these. No, honestly, at this point, the money that we get from the show goes to the show, and the money, if we do end up selling the book more, the money that we get from that will end up paying our our LLC fees and stuff. So we're I've paid all that stuff out of pocket, and so I'm just looking forward to not paying that. That's all you're helping with, and hopefully, more importantly, I want us to get to 1,000 downloads a month because then we can start monetizing. We don't have to ask you for money, but we still will, but we don't have to. But when we get to 1,000 downloads a month, we will get to be able to put on auto ads.
Auto ads. We
Yeah.
love the auto ads.
Yep. So
listen to an ad in Spanish for a company that's not even near you. Auto ads.
I actually think the auto ads are sometimes pretty accurate. I mean, so like I was listening to Cogdis this morning, and the auto ad was for something local. And it was something like, because they have a pretty good profile of you, which is creepy as hell, but they do have it. And so it was, something that I would have potentially went and bought, and it was in.
I get Spanish ones a lot.
Oh. Are you doing Duolingo?
I don't even do Unolingo.
I know that Leah's doing Duolingo because she's one of the few friends that pops up every day that's active. So I've been doing it to get Logan doing it. But anyway, I was pulling up the stats for our show, and we have 111 in the last downloads in the last 30 days. So I would like to get that to about 10 times that. So realistically, if we can get to about, I would say 250 subscribers would get us, because it's four episodes a month, that would get us 1,000 a month. So right now we have, I think we're in the 20s or 30s for people, probably 25, something like that. So I keep telling people, I've had a lot of luck when I'm talking to individuals. When I'm talking to the group, or when I'm putting, we had a video go almost semi like micro viral on TikTok a couple weeks ago. Did you see that one, by the way? It was the big dick patriotism
decorated truck.
Yeah. We had about 800 views in under 30 minutes, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be the one that goes viral. Oh shit. And I was like a little nervous, and then it crapped out after 30 minutes, and I was like, God damn it. And none of it's translated.
It's weird which things go viral, because like Brooklyn Brothers, we do long, not very long, couple of minutes, reviews. Yeah. But every once in a while, I do shorts on things. Like a friend of mine gave me a bunch of different spicy ramens from an Asian market, and so I've been doing these different spicy ramens. And I did one where I was just cooking Sabrett hot dogs and saying, "This is how I like my hot dog." There's lots of ways to do hot dogs. I'm not downplaying anyone else's way. This is my way. It got like 1.2 thousand views, like in a day.
Nice.
It's like, why did that one? Like, because it's about hot dogs. People like hot dogs so much, the algorithm gave it to everyone to watch my hot dog video.
Yeah.
And it's not the quality of the video because it's a short. So I mean, people just watch it; they don't care what it is.
Yeah. Well, I learned that if you do hashtag patriotism and hashtag nationalism, you get a lot of views, and it's terrifying. And you get people being like, "Oh, the comments were amazing." I don't know if I should shout them out, or I will cut the comments out.
Go follow our TikTok, and then you can see the comments for yourself.
Well, I was gonna say the comments were just like funny because they're so fucking weird. Like one said that this dude has never touched a woman, based on my like patriotism take. I don't understand.
We got kids.
Yeah, well, he didn't know that from the 1 minute video. And then the other guy said this guy's never left his bedroom, and I wanted to be like, that map of the United States, all the states that I've ever been to, you little fuck. But I don't respond. I only respond if it's positive. We did get a new TikTok follower. He's a vet, and he liked our take on it, and so that was cool. But I don't know the word. I don't know how good this is doing for us, but I'm making the clips, and it takes an extra 30 seconds to spread it onto a couple other networks. So anyway, and as much as like we should have started with the topic, like I said, but I think that shooting the shit episodes are fun.
I'll give you 30 minutes sometime. Yeah, I've been running over. So Sunday I picked him up and spent the evening there, and then my wife made speaking of Indian food, she made a complete Indian meal for us. I grilled lamb steaks and cut them up, and she made them into a curry. So it was grilled lamb flavor, but then in a curry sauce. And then she did bangal bharta, which is Indian eggplant, and she did aloo gobi, which is potatoes and cauliflower, and of course rice with veggies in it. Not quite biryani, but just side rice. And so we had a lovely little Indian meal to welcome my brother to this coast.
Nice. This is the little brother or the big brother?
Well, they're both little compared to me, but my older brother, the one who's your mom's age.
He's not quite my mom's age. We need to just in order for me to not feel like a complete weirdo when we talk about it. I need to feel like my mom's older than your brother. Like,
yeah, good. Probably 18 months or so. He was July 63.
She's April 61.
That's a full 2 years.
Yeah. My mom. My mom's got. My mom was big and has been big in her church, and so she's always had friends that are in their 70s since she was like in her 40s, and now she's 60. She's just turned 62, and I'm like, Mom, you're starting to get to be the same age as your friends, and she was like, Yeah, they're all dying. So,
yeah, my parents have gone through a bad streak recently of a number of friend deaths in the last. While my dad's going through chemo, like friends are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
But they also had a lot of friends who are older than them. I mean, they're in their 80s, and they had friends who were older. So a lot of friends who were in their 90s who are not surprising that they're passing away.
Yeah. So I think I told you this. I wrote a message to Puzzle in a Thunderstorm, and I said, "Oh, I know that you guys." I said, "I know that our podcast definitely doesn't have enough, listens or downloads to justify us being on your show or me being on your show, but I just wanted to like throw it out there just in case. But if you when you guys do Sound of Freedom, I would love to be on that episode because I explained that I have some family members who've been watching it, even some like left leaning family members who are like, yeah, this is a true story, and they believe all the shit in it. And I was like, oh, I want to do it. Only 2 minutes later, realized that that's what they're doing for their live show.
And they have a guest actually at the live show.
Do they? Yeah. So that kind of sucks, but I was like, and then it won't. When Instagram will let you send one message, and then after that, until they accept it, won't let you send another one. And I want to be like, sorry, I just realized you're already recording, but I can't write another message. So,
that must be new.
It is. It's a new, somewhat new feature.
Because it's like I have developed a social media friendship with Jerry Eisner, a best-selling cookbook author from Pressure Luck Cooking, who does Instagram. He does Instant Pot videos on YouTube and such.
Yeah.
And I sent him an Instagram link to my first CK video when I first did it, and saying, hey, I know, you may not even see this with your 1 million followers, but you inspired me to do this little fun video, blah, 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 blah. And then never got a response. And actually, they could have had this in place, because what happened was a year later, I made a comment on one of his Instagram posts, and somebody else made a homophobic reply to my comment. And I'm fairly witty when I want to be. So I sliced the knees out from under him in a smooth way that was not aggressive, but was funny, and kind of diffused the situation. And then Jeff chimed in afterwards saying, thank you for that. And then sent me a private message to say, thanks for, not making it escalate on my page and such. And at that time saw the link I had sent him a year before and watched it. And then we started talking about it. We spent that night, like 2 hours that night, talking on Instagram after he watched my video. And now it's been, pandemic later, we were hoping to see each other like in 2020 when he went on a book tour.
Oh,
and then the pandemic hit and it was canceled. So we've been friends back and forth, like we're friends on Facebook just personally, and comment back and forth private messages all the time. Still planning on eventually having that meal together.
Nice. Speaking of CK's Kitchen, I'm curious how many followers you've got on subscribers do you have on that?
I don't know. I would have to look it up. I don't even pay attention.
Yeah, our YouTube is at like 11, which I haven't really been pushing YouTube that much. I just figured it's a good spot to have it in case people find it or whatever.
Yeah, I was out to a business lunch the other day, and the guy I was with, I told him about it, and he subscribed to it like right there.
Oh, that's cool. I'm trying to think, because somebody followed us on. Was it the same guy that you sent me the name of that was on TikTok?
No,
different guy. Okay.
I only have 71 subscribers on CK.
Gotcha.
That's why I did run into somebody. I was at a funeral last week, because friends are dropping like flies, and somebody told me at the funeral that every time they're on YouTube, CK videos get served up to them as recommended videos.
Nice.
So you should be watching them.
Yeah.
Watch them all.
Gotta watch them all.
Yeah, I'm either not going to make one together. I made a video of a variation of French onion soup in the Instant Pot for my dad, making him soft food so he can swallow. And the audio got messed up. I used a lapel mic, but for some reason my phone didn't turn off the phone's microphone, so everything was double mic'd, so it was huge echoes on the entire thing.
Yeah.
And then my dad said to me when I told him that, well, why don't you just redub everything? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to redub a half-hour video. You're insane. And then it hit me, hey, it'd be really funny if I just let the first 10 seconds, 5 seconds play, and then cut in with a voiceover. Like, hey, what the hell happened to my video? Why does it sound like that?
Yeah.
And have Mata be with me as Peg, her character on the channel, and be like, we should fix it. Do something. Dub it over. I can't dub it over. And then have us just describe what's happening and just an audio track commentary over the entire video instead of redubbing what I actually said.
Yep. Nice. I'm on your channel right now. You have 71 subscribers. But
I said that.
Yeah. It's good.
71 now, but yeah, when everyone hears this, there'll be a huge, like,
yeah, well, you'll have at least 72.
At least 73.
I think you're overestimating our ability to move people at this point. Although this episode will be there forever, so like there's a chance that
if you're listening to the back catalog, it might be 73.
Yeah.
My dream is that one day I actually do get to go to New York to hang out with Jeff from Pressure Luck, who has 1 million or 2 million followers, whatever, and be a guest on one of his videos in CK character, and then watch like 100,000 people sign up the next day for my once every 3 months videos.
Oh, one thing we should do today, after we're done recording this episode, is we should do a Farnsworth quote. And then we can submit that. Because I think that would actually, I think that would be a big way to get some downloads. But yeah. So
there was a lot of thunder just now.
Yeah. It's sunny where I'm at.
Yeah, and I think it stopped raining. I was taking stuff out to the car, but it's still thunder every once in a while.
Yeah. So for the listeners, we live like maybe 2 miles from each other. Like we do not live far, and like,
It's
but
halfway to my parents' house.
yeah, but North Carolina, I've been driving down High House a couple times where I'm in rain and I can see that it's not raining ahead, or vice versa, and it's very bizarre. It does. Yeah, I told you about the Truman Show feeling. It does not help the
Yeah.
Truman Show feeling.
My take on it was there's in the movie Tombstone, there's a scene where um, it's pouring rain and Wyatt drops to his knees with blood on his hands in front of his girlfriend or mistress, eventually to be wife.
Yeah.
And he's like crying in the rain, and behind them there's no rain. Like the rain machine is just over them, and like right, like across the street. It's not. And I'm like, what are they in North Carolina? That looks like North Carolina. It's raining on one block and dry on the next one.
Yep.
So how about this? Today was like fine. Last night was like the best news of the year. Trump indicted in Georgia. Woohoo!
Oh, was he? I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah. Him and 18 other people. Him, Giuliani, Eastman, Jeffrey Clark, who else? Jenna Ellis, Mark Meadows, North Carolinian. No, he moved to South Carolina. And then like a bunch of local people. Yeah, on RICO charges, and then like 40 other charges. I don't know how many were him. There's like 40 something charges altogether, but not everyone was charged with everything. So I don't know which ones Trump was charged with specifically. But they were all charged at RICO, which is a minimum 5-year sentence.
It's going to be very weird to have our president
where he belongs,
being elected while also being indicted, because I'm a doomer, so I have like I remember Tom from Cog Dis before the 2016 election being like, I will never say those words, because when Cecil would say President Trump, and he's like, I will never say those words, and like it being a big joke because you just, how could it possibly happen? And I don't have faith that it will not happen again. I will say, who was I talking? Oh, I was talking to Paul. You remember Paul?
I remember Paul.
And I was talking to him a couple weeks ago. No, it was maybe a week ago. And he was saying, what did he say? He said, we started talking about Florida, and he was telling me that he was saying Florida should just fall off into the sea, and that would save America. And I said it would save America, and it would double piss off Republicans, because not only would they lose. I mean, if they lost Florida, they lose the country basically. Like Florida, Texas, those states. Either one of those states are keeping them in. And I said, but then the other reason it would piss off is because Florida's America's penis, and if it falls off, America's trans.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, you're absolutely right. And I was like, yeah. No, this Georgia news is interesting, but I don't know. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I hope
what's interesting is, a lot is interesting. One of the things interesting about Georgia is that apparently in Georgia, being released without bail, one of the things that really makes it hard to be released without bail is witness intimidation. Like they take that very seriously in Georgia law. And it's one of the things he's accused of it as one of the charges.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah.
And I'll do a hot take. There was a tweet he did like 3 days ago saying that one of the main witnesses shouldn't be allowed to be a witness, shouldn't testify. I think is what he said, because he's been anti-Trump since the beginning. Like he was against me on the election night, and he wouldn't, he's been part of this witch hunt. And people have been calling that witness intimidation. And I don't think it was. I don't think he was directing it at the guy saying, I'm threatening you, don't testify. I think he was saying it to his base, saying this guy is so biased against me, it's not fair if he testifies. Witnesses shouldn't think the person's guilty.
Yeah.
Every smoke alarm in the house was going off as one, because they're all connected, and none of them said low battery. I don't know. Then there was a slight red light, I think, blinking on the one in a storeroom, like Joseph's old bedroom before he moved into the bigger one. So I pulled that out of the ceiling and took the battery out, and they stopped. Though something just beeped, one beep. So it's ironically, I asked Malavi to pick up 9-volt batteries at Costco the other day, and they were out of 9 volts. Like I was thinking, it's about time I swap all the batteries, and we don't have 9-volt batteries to swap all the batteries.
Yeah.
I may have to run out and buy batteries.
That's okay.
So there you go.
We just wrap it up. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I know. Like there's still a beep. Like there's one low on battery. I need to replace all the batteries.
Yeah. You have anything you want to plug? Other than
yeah, bro. I don't know if you guys heard that I got a food review channel called Brooklyn Brothers Food Review. Feel free to check that out on the YouTubes.
Yeah. I got nothing personally other than this podcast. I would say if you are listening to it on your normal podcast spot, you could go check it out on YouTube if you wanted to see the podcast. Or
see how sexy Mike is without a beard.
If for some reason you randomly chose this episode as your first, I would love it if you would subscribe so that you can get all of our episodes. And that chirp noise will only be in this episode, I promise.
Unless my house burns down.
No, then it won't be there either.
That's the chirp that makes you want to just take all the fire smoke alarms out of your house and say the odds of me going crazy and killing my family in their sleep because of a beep at 3 a.m. is higher than the odds of the house burning down. It's better not to have smoke alarms. That's the official stance of this podcast. It is better not to have smoke alarms than to have the beeping drive you incessantly crazy, like your an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah, that is the official endorsed point of view of one of our co-hosts. I can cut your beeping out on when you're not talking, at least. So yeah, like us, subscribe to this, give us a review if you want, and if you happen to want to get some more content from us for $3 a month, you can be a patron. Right now, that gets you early access to our episodes, usually on Mondays, sometimes on Tuesdays. It'll be more consistently on Monday when we have more patrons. But you'll get early access. But there's also quite a bit of content that Matthew and I make that just doesn't make it onto normal stuff because it's too risque. So anyway, the clip that I just cut out, no one will ever hear, never. But there are lots of clips that you could hear if you wanted to pay $3 a month, and we have a lot of extra content. One of our episodes, if you go back, was it 2 weeks now, to our purity episode, there's about 15 minutes of extra stuff on that version of the episode because it's about purity, and we weren't going to talk about certain things on Apple Podcasts and YouTube because of obvious reasons. So if you wanted to listen to that, you could go spend $3 a month, or as I've been telling anybody that asks, you could spend $3. Forget that you're spending $3 and just be subscribed in perpetuity. So, but we will have extra content. I think that there's a chance that we will have some other things pop up as far as if we get enough subscribers, we could offer patron only episodes. We would have uncensored versions of the video feed. So there's lots of stuff. Maybe we'll even do a live show, like a live, not a live show, like a, what do you call it? Live stream if we get some patrons. So yeah, you log in and let us know what you think you think our goals should be and what you would like to see from us. But you can tell us what you want to see from us regardless. But obviously, patrons will also get some perks. So, Matthew, with that,
thanks for taking a break from the big stuff and talking about the small stuff with us this week.
Yeah. The preceding podcast has been a Chocolate Diamond Media LLC production. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.